I'm going, there we go with the recording. Um, so I hope you all had a wonderful, restful, peaceful season, whether you're celebrating holidays now or at another time or not at all. That's not really the point of our practice, is not based on any theology. It's not based on a belief system. It's based on our direct experience. That which can be known, felt, held in one's direct experience. And so just so we always begin there, you will see that I will use all kinds of theologies. One, all the way from, of course, Rumi, to Brother David Steindl-Rast, to Mary Oliver. And on Saturday, I'm going to be reciting a piece I will send you prior called The Dark Night of the Soul by St. John of the Cross, who was a Christian mystic. This is what we are talking about in the last weeks as it relates to the word I'm choosing to use right now, which is the quiet. We've also used words like the dark or darkness. We could use, if we wanted to pick words out of Buddhist texts, we might use words like emptiness or stillness or resting in the vastness, which is part of our practice today. And one of the things that I believe is true of all spiritual practice and all work, this work of weaving ourselves into wholeness, which is already true on the one hand, and which we must remember and reconnect with, particularly in times of fear, distress, worry. One of the things that we've been discovering in this idea of holy, getting it away from this idea of pious or religious, which is the, maybe we could say, already existing beauty, mystery, majesty, wholeness, interconnectedness would be some other words. We use words like wholeheartedness that actually require our complete attention. And without that, the experience of wholeness, or that holiness we are talking about, actually becomes impossible. And so I sent you David Whyte's piece, which was a beautifully written, quite profound in its way. It required a lot of rereading for me. So before we begin today to rest into that darkness, that quietude, and there is a gift at the end of it, though it can feel like walking into a dark cave. We've had Sangha members call that part of the practice things like groundlessness, or being dissolved into no self. And there can be an aspect of that. I know several of you are going through this right now. Nothing to grab, as if there ever was. No security, no stability, no ground, except to learn to rest in this groundlessness, this dark night, says St. John of the Cross, where all terrors, all fears, all uncertainties come, but the beauty, I believe, is, as I know this myself, there is then an answer. It is not left it is actually in some amazing way. The question becomes a part of the answer itself. And so I wanted to pick a simpler version this morning because the words from David Whyte, though I love them, can reel our eyes back, for sure for me. I wanted to read something I thought was simpler. Yes, I caught that, thank you. I wanted to read something simpler by Mary Oliver, and I love her because she speaks to the same realities, the same truths, the same essence, but in the most natural, in the most effortless way. And so I found this actually is by David Whyte. Also, let me take that back. I'm not going to read Mary's today. I'm going to save that for Saturday. This is also by David Whyte, and it speaks to the same practice that we're going to be doing. So I'm going to read this first as you prepare to sit, and then we'll ring the bell. This is called The Bell and the Blackbird. It's not actually a familiar poem for me. So when I found it, it felt like quite a discovery. So just letting the body settle. We let the eyes lower. We move into that stillness, into that quietude. And we place the attention, we settle the mind there, always beginning first in this quieted body, the stilled body. And while you rest there, I will read this by David Whyte. The Bell and the Blackbird. The sound of a bell still reverberating, or a blackbird calling from a corner of a field, asking you to wake into this life, or inviting you deeper to the one that awaits. Either way takes courage. Either way wants you to be nothing but that self that is no self at all. Wants you to walk to the place where you find you already know how to give every last thing away. The approach that is also the meeting itself. There it is. The approach that is also the meeting itself, the question that actually holds the answer itself without any meeting at all. That radiance you have always carried with you as you walk both alone and completely accompanied in friendship by every corner of the world, crying, Alleluia. That radiance you have always carried with you right into that darkness as you walk both alone and completely accompanied in friendship by every corner of the world, crying. Let's prepare to sit. And so can you get a sense just in this sitting and letting those sounds, those vibrations vibrate against your own eardrum? A simple act and a miracle. How do you breathe the truth? The bell and the blackbird. The sound of a voice and the sound of no thing. Bringing out and same breath. We place our feet or our legs on the floor for stability. We let the head rise up, let the heart open, let the belly be soft. We're just going to see if we can't begin once again to rest in that one breath that expands into the vast open space. There's no distinctions here. That one breath that opens us into that radiance that we always are. And may we offer the benefits of this practice today to all beings everywhere without exception. Omitting none. And please be sure to include your radiant self. Whatever the darkness, once again, no distinction. Find a place to quiet and hold your own hands. Let the shoulders gently round. A natural protection for the heart. And really, this essential practice of resting, breathing, requires the most of us, and of course the least. The beginning practice, once again, placing the mind. We don't let it ramble around. For me, it is easiest to rest in the whole body for a time. And right out of the quiet, right out of the stillness, you begin to sense the aliveness, that radiance that is always here, coming right out of your own wholeness. right in the midst of the darkness, the quiet, the stillness, this radiance shines. And rather than fill the space with light or words or action, can we invite the mind again and again into rest? We let the out breath itself draw us into the depths of the stillness. as you walk both alone and completely accompanied. And you feel that sense here in that stillness, in that quiet, in that darkness. Can you see the availability then? That which allows connection, being the belonging, the interbeing of everything. And there's no special way to feel, so be watchful of the habit to look for something else. There is only one path. There is only one portal. It is the present moment. Just this one breath and body. You may confront a restlessness, a movement of the mind or the body, and see if you can't create space even there. Right in the midst of the movement, there is space all around. Rest the mind there. No matter the chatter, there is quiet all around. Rest the mind. rather than thinking about the breath or thinking about space or thinking about darkness or thinking about that which is already radiant and holy, can you simply release into the experience? Know the body breathing. There's nothing to seek. The darkness and the light are already here. We rest in one to find the radiance that has always been you. The very knowing of the darkness, the very knowing of the quiet and the stillness points the way. Can you sense the room of darkness? The way that it holds you as you hold it. And you can begin to feel its requirement. The very thing we avoid is often the necessary medicine. And as you get more familiar, the quiet and the darkness, that infinite space calls you deeper. It asks you to join more completely. Let go of all the hands. Find that essential freedom. The sound of a bell or a blackbird, both asking you to wake into this life, inviting you deeper to one that And may we be filled with loving kindness. And may we be well. And be peaceful and at ease. And may we be happy. And may this practice today contribute. I see Courtney there. Mwah, mwah. Courtney, how are you? Dennis, mwah, the same. Good to see you. I see, I think Terry Boutel might be on today too, as well as Marilyn. Seth, good to see you again. Tanya, good to see you. I'm going to take a sip here. And so what is it we fear? What is it we fear that keeps us moving? Jittery, restless, seeking, wanting something else. What is that? And as David White said in the poem, the bell or the blackbird, both take courage to greet, don't they? Both take courage. No matter which one we think we like or which one we think is better, the truth is the arrival, he says, asking you to wake up to this life, both of them, and just be fully here. And right, especially maybe, isn't it true for so many at holiday time or these idea of special moments, I think can be extra challenging because we think there's something missing right out of the specializing, right out of the, right, then we can get into the habits of a seeking mind, right? The mind that wants, yes, Dennis, thank you. It wants what's familiar or known or the picture that we've always had about how it should be, or right? And we begin really separating, don't we? Right there from the truth of this life, this moment, right there with this idea of only if that, if only another, if only this something or that other thing, or and that busyness that scrambling, that what are the words used in the sutta? I actually love them. The tangle actually is how it's interpreted. The tangle, the knots that we get ourselves in, looking for something other than this present moment. And it isn't only that, is it actually? It's not just the conditions around us that we seek. What else is it? It's not just another moment. What else is it? We're more intolerant than that. It isn't just a warmer room, right? Thinner body, more money. It's not just that. In some way, you know, right? You go, okay, so sure, we all like things that feel a little more comfortable. It is the intolerance of being ourselves. Isn't that unbelievable? We can barely tolerate this self. Yeah. Marilyn says fear, navigating it, right? Yeah. It takes off from this moment because of the fear of somehow not being enough in it, isn't it? It isn't just the weather we complain about, it's ourselves in it, actually. Yeah. Right. And the love begins, Dennis says, to be needed and loved. The love begins right here, doesn't it? Isn't it right here in this quiet moment with yourself exactly as you are, fearful or not, right? Not really the point. That's just the weather. Dark or light, says the poem. Bell or blackbird, says David White. Be watchful what we seek. It is already here. It is already here. And the seeking something else is the game. It is the, right? We run to something else as if then we could be whole. Interestingly, it's the opposite, isn't it? Which direction do we need to go? Just here, right? Not over there, not this way, not out, not in. We don't even have to buy into all that. Can we just be here? And could you feel it, is my question. Could you feel the glimpsing moments of simply radiant presence? Just knowing darkness, right? Didn't it? I heard you. I felt that mind that just went, yep, I guess this is it. Well, all right, I'll just sit here. This eye scratching, right? It's okay. Then the eye scratches, it does what it does. I didn't even have to get away from it. It, yeah. There is no it, actually, right? There is only this. And I want us to pay attention for this because especially now as we're moving from the darkest, shortest time that I so love for the stillness within it and for all that we can actually experience in that quiet. I want us to be careful that we don't rush too quickly into the light because there is the knowing. To know the dark is essential. To know the truth of suffering, says the Buddha, is actually essential to its freedom. And in fact, it's the first noble truth that we know or understand something about the truth of our suffering, that we don't get around it, that we don't go some other way, that we don't just bathe in light, that it in fact is not quite accurate. That's quite a shortcut and in fact never works. That we have to really get familiar, and we might even say friendly, with the dark, or as Marilyn suggested, with our fear, with our grasping, with our contractedness, with our what? Aloneness. I guess this feels relevant to me. with our aloneness, with our uh, not connecting, not just in our moments of connection, that we come to know something about it on the path to freedom. And in fact, I do not know another way. I do not know another way except to find a place to rest with the truth of that and recognizing then what our own radiance in the midst of it. Oh, knowing fear like this. Oh, knowing disconnect or separation or aloneness or uncertainty or the seeking of stability like this. And that we don't push it away, we rest actually with it. And these trainings, this very work we did today, is the path to that, the path and the practice to that. Courtney says, my intention is to remember the expansiveness, the stillness that is ever present, even when in struggle. Absolutely. Maybe even especially when in struggle, when afraid. This quiet can hold me. Well, let's say it is holding you, isn't it? It is holding you, and we've got to get still enough, quiet enough in order to see, know it. And that's that radiance, ever held, always held, never separated, never disconnected, not possible. You are this light. There is no other way. You can't get out of it. It's inherently, intrinsically you and me and all of these beautiful beings on the screen. So we might as well learn to love them and ourselves, right? And ourselves exactly as we are. And yes, that holds everything. I agree with you completely. And this is the beauty, the benefit, the solace of the dark. I think we have to get a little more tolerant. And the training is here for us in order to see what's actually there. In my 30-day retreat with Gregory Kramer and Ezra Beta, how lucky am I? I had 2 teachers to interview with during that 30-day period. It was actually dramatic in their willingness to do so for me. Gregory Kramer asked me at the end, and we're going to be doing his book, by the way, starting in 2 weeks, A Whole Life Path. And this book is so important as we move into then how do we live, right? And how does everything we do feed and nourish that aliveness, that wakefulness, that attentiveness, that presence, that love, that care in you. Everything we do from the first blink of the eye, right in the morning, and to do anything else then is distraction. He asked me at the last day, we happened to have an interview on that day, and he said, so what did you see? What did you see in that 30 days? And what's the answer? There's only really one: everything and nothing. Right? Everything. The watermelon mind that was craving watermelon, the mind that didn't care anymore, the mind that wanted to go home, the mind that cried because I missed my family, the mind that didn't care about them either, right? Everything. What did you see? Everything. And what else is true? Not me, just our humanness, right? And I know if you sat for 30 days, or if the Buddha, and when the Buddha sat for 30 days, what did he see? Exactly the same things. This is the beauty of these teachings, right? The part that I love about the Buddhist tradition is Gautama was simply human. That was it. Nothing special, says Joko. Your capability, exactly the same. Your mind, exactly that mind. Your life, exactly, right? Filled with that capability for awakening, for presence, for love, for compassion. Exactly the same, not one ounce of difference. And this is what the practice. It's why we have to practice every day, because we've got a short shelf life for remembering, don't we? We will barely get up from here to get to our tea or our coffee or our emails or our dog or our whatever it is we're going to go do. It won't take that long, will it? That's the nature of this human mind, to get distracted from resting in that essential presence. And yes, what I love about that is it's always right there, and we can find our way back just one breath back into that quiet, back into that stillness, back into our own bodies, back to our own breath, back just right here to whatever is true in the mind. And then there is no struggle. And then there is no struggle. There's just busy mind. Then there's just a tight body. Then there's just that sick feeling that I got yesterday. I'll tell a quick funny story about this, and then we'll see if there's any more to say before we go. So I ordered, and if you read the newsletter, you know this, I ordered 20 tents and 10 sleeping bags off of Amazon. We found an amazing price. We're going to be bringing those to the refugee camp with our friend Doug on Saturday. And thank you to all of you. Adrian, I know, has contributed, Brad Tunis and Jim and Carrie and Lynn and many others. I will call their names because of their generosity and kindness, Kelly, numbers. And a woman, Amazon delivery woman, was coming down our walkway yesterday with 6 gigantic boxes. I had forgotten, right? Look at this. I forgot that I ordered them. And she's bringing these gigantic boxes, and as she's bringing them, my stomach goes completely like somebody's gotten my credit card or something and is just purchased infinite amounts of I don't know what. And she keeps bringing the boxes, and I'm going, I don't think these are mine. I don't know. And she's going, well, your name's on them. I'm like, yeah, I don't even know whether to take them because I'm pretty sure I got hacked or something. And of course, my sister in her wise mind just opens the box, right? Let's just look in here, and goes, okay, so looks like tents and sleeping bags. I don't know where you're going, but you got a lot of them. That moment of forgetting, wow, like literally disconnects me from me, right? It isn't even then just from life, it's from me. I'm literally got metal taste in my mouth, my stomach's on the floor. I'm going, oh no, I've been, right? All simply because I forgot. This is what happens. Yeah, when we forget, right? A moment of forgetting, that's simple, right? Tense, right? Blah. I know this is what we do in our forgetting. And I also know this is what we rest in when we remember. We then just hold that too. We don't get rid of it. We're not trying for another experience. It's not to get over it, be watchful of these shortcuts that don't work. What was the job? Tasting the metal taste in my mouth, feeling my stomach on the ground, right? Watching my face. I actually scratched my eye in the middle of this thing, by the way, which is why I'm blanking like a maniac now, like, right? All that, all the suffering, right there in that second arrow, in the forgetting. And then, oh, what? We simply begin again. We get right here again. We breathe just one breath, not getting rid of anything, by the way. Forget it. It's already there. The metal taste is already there. The adrenaline is already there. The cortisol is already there. Can you be with that too? Right? And then you be with that too. That's the practice. That's the path. And that's why we train. Yes, it is hysterical, Marilyn. Right. Order something on Monday, forget all about it on Tuesday. Right. When it finally arrives. Yeah.
Monday, order it at 5 o'clock, forget it 5:10, you know?
Or faster than that. I am pretty sure had she arrived about then, I would have gone into the same, like, oh no. Now, by the way, the boxes aren't the point. Let's not forget, right? The tents aren't the point. What's the point? We forget who we are. We forget our own what? Loving, generous, kind. I'm going to be with this to nature. That's where the problem is. Doesn't matter what's in the box, folks. Sometimes you'll know, sometimes you won't know. It's that we forget our own capacities. We forget our own wholeness. This is the point, isn't it? We forget our holiness. We freak. And so what would have happened, one might say, had it been 6 boxes of I don't know what? Nothing. Really? Like, what could have happened? You would have kept them or gone, hey, guess what? This is fun. I don't even know how I would have sent it back. I would have given it away. Not really the point, right? But what do? Something grabs that goes, not okay, not this moment, not like this. I need to know, I have to, right? And then we suffer. And the suffering is simply in one thing. It has nothing to do with the box or what's in it. Does it? No, it doesn't. Don't believe it. Things I bought or things I didn't buy. Not the point. What's the point? The forgetting.
Diana, it makes me think of, am I interrupting by saying
Not
something?
at all.
Oh, it makes me think of, I got myself a really nice guitar for Christmas or for whatever. I wanted a steel string guitar, and I'm going to get a nylon one too, right? To learn some flamenco. But I was playing around with it yesterday in the studio, and also the day before playing around with my Rav Vost hang drum, and noticing we so crave those final notes of resolve, right? That E major, that thing that we have all the notes, and then we want that last note. Like, we don't mind where it goes, right? But we really want that last note to be that one of, oh, we get to settle. But it's a lie, because we're seeking something, right? It feels the same. When I was talking to my husband about it last night, I'm like, oh, isn't it interesting? And like, after playing around, I'm looking for that note that's going to give me that nice, pretty ending. Mm-hmm. And how about if I ended on a note, as the music goes, right? When we hear it, just maybe it suddenly stops, or it ends on a very dissonant note. And how do it's that we're always looking for it to be ultimately peaceful and at ease, but the ease isn't about the thing itself. It's about our relationship to the thing itself.
Always.
So such an interesting metaphor, and then to hear you say that about the boxes, it's like these metaphors are really helpful,
aren't they?
They're because like little parables.
We can join our life, right? You can go, that's it. I do it. I've done it. Whether it's a box or a note or looking at a beloved in a way you didn't want or like in them, right? Like, and really, what do I know? It's just some part of me there that I don't want or like too.
And the danger of wanting it to feel peaceful, like, and looking for that peacefulness in the wrong, we're looking in the wrong window for where we're
Yeah,
going to find that.
that we're looking is actually the wrong one. Because what it was Courtney saying, just here in the not knowing, just here in the distress, just here in the forgetting, just here with the dissonant note, right? And really, what's dissonant anyway? The thing I didn't want. Isn't that the true definition of dissonant? There is no dissonant note. It's just a note. What's dissonant?
note.
Me that didn't want it, the resistance, the not liking, and boy, don't we spend time there. And if you don't remember that feeling, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. It won't take but a half second to go, wait a minute, what's that doing there? Well, no, it's something going on over here. What's this? Wait a minute, push something up or in or right. It won't take but a half a second. And if you can't catch it there, look at another and you'll do it there, right? If only this, why not that? If only more something, not enough. And again, it isn't to get rid of it. It's to truly know it and to know what it really is. What is it? We are seeking ourselves. That's it. We're seeking ourselves. The thing that we rest in for 30 or 40 minutes or 5 breaths, right? And my only request today is that we commit ourselves in these last days of the year to rest for some amount of time, to find that, the being with, for some number of breaths every day, so that we can move into what? The present moment, that which is always fresh and new and radiant, even when it's things we don't like or things we have forgotten. Dennis says, isn't it amazing how things can grab us and put us in a state of disharmony and separate us from our loving hearts? Yes, isn't it amazing? It's truly amazing. Yeah. And what's in between the notes? What is it? Stillness, silence, and our own radiance, says David White. Our own radiance rests there. And so let's see if we can find the time, be watchful of what else you're doing, and make sure. My husband and I have just made a new commitment to practicing together as we have gotten a little distance from that. And I feel excited to have that together. And I want you each to have it at least with and for yourself, and then bringing that here. I know that it will extend beyond. So please enjoy these last few days of the year. We will be practicing on Saturday. I wanted to talk about that for a moment because it is New Year's Day. And I do know that some people are up a little later on New Year's Eve. Do we want to make that time a little later on New Year's Day? That I don't want to go too much past 8 or a little after, because the day will just grab hold of us. But if you have any thoughts about that, if you would let me know. I want to invite as many of us to practice as we set intentions and aspirations. Again, for the new day, the new moment, the new year. Any thoughts about that? Should we try for 8 o'clock? Should we leave it at 7:30? Are there any preferences?
I think either works, actually. I mean, I'm gonna kind of be around, so
Either
whatever.
way,
everybody
yeah.
decides, yeah. Are we
Being
gonna do
around
any
either way.
plunging this day? No
Oh, that's
plunging in
right,
the ocean. huh?
plunge. That's
Yeah, I
right.
don't know.
I didn't even think about the plunge. That's right. I remember Adrian and I did that together. It was quite a blast, by the
Yeah,
way.
that
That
was
was
fun.
quite a blast. Like to keep 7:30. Okay. Since I'm not hearing anything, I'm going to say that maybe the 7:30 is just fine. I know like Courtney's already later, right? So that might just be impossible for you because it's a Sunday, a Saturday.
So who cares whether you sit with a hangover?
That's right. That's exactly part of the deal. We all have hangovers is actually the truth of that. Whether you're drinking or not drinking, you're
I'll
sitting
be
in
hanging out with two little fur balls, so there's.
all right. So I'm hearing nothing. That means 7:30 is probably just perfect. Let's work for that. Why don't we sit together for just a few more breaths? And then Greg will be here, I think, Thursday at 7 also. I know there was a problem I heard from last Thursday, so hopefully that's gotten worked out. Okay, good with either time, great. So let's reestablish, and then remember, we're just remembering. And remembering what? We're remembering the truth of this precious human life. The gift of this breath, this body, whatever it's doing, scratchy eye and all. We remember our wish to be well, to be happy, to have ease. And we remember that this is the wish of all humanity. And we begin to breathe right into our own hearts. We create space and room. On the out breath, we let go of all the cravings, all the greed, all the aversion, the ill will, the aggressions, all the ignorance, all the numbness, all the confusion. It's not possible here. There is only this present moment. Soften the belly, release the shoulders. Remembering our own and others' good hearts. May we offer the merits, the blessings, and the benefits of this practice today to all those just like me who wish to be happy and healthy and safe and free and awake. May we stop throughout this day and take those 3 or 5 or 10 breaths, creating a space in which to remember. You are nobly born. Remember who you really are. And may it be so this very day. Making it a very good day. Thank you all. Love you all. Good to see you. I'll see you again in the new year. How exciting is that? Yay. Yeah, exactly. I'll look forward to seeing you Saturday at 7:30. If you can't join, please get on encinitasmindfulness.org. We will be bringing the tents and the sleeping bags down to the border on Saturday, which I'm really excited about. And so if you'd like to make a contribution to that still, thank you. Once again, many have already done so. We were able to get last year's tents, really amazing, 20-something for a tent and 20-something, a little more for a sleeping bag. I upgraded the sleeping bag a little bit because I wanted it to cover at least 30 degrees. So we went up a little bit on those, and those were about 26 or something. So we have the blessings of warmth, of a roof, of privacy, and I thank you to all of you who are offering that as well to others. And all the other things you do, by the way. That's just one way. So I'll look forward to seeing you then. Something about the Rose Parade. The Rose Parade is, I guess, on New Year's Day. That's right. I haven't watched that in years, Dennis. That's a really lovely idea. All right, everyone. Marilyn, wonderful. Enjoy your retreat. I'll look forward to seeing you when you return. Be well, everyone. Happy New Year in case I don't see you.
Bye.